A lot. Today I'm going to talk about Eckart Tolle. I think that's how you say it, Eckart Tolle. I'm so bad with pronunciations. Dude, the problem is most of the stuff I read, I don't hear, or if I hear, I don't know how to pronounce it either. So it causes a lot of issues when it comes to this kind of stuff. But hopefully I said it right. If I didn't, then oh well. But yeah. Oh my God, you're actually here just when human? I've been waiting. That's crazy. I'm shocked you came to one of my streams. You don't come anymore. It's been so sad. It's been so lonely. All right, we can start with the video. Too loud? It's only 8 p.m.
Manifesting is a
Yeah, it's
secondary
Saturday.
thing, it's a bonus. Yes, it is the destiny of humans, of course, to humanity as a whole, eventually to live in a different state of consciousness, where all the stuff that we are doing now won't be necessary anymore, so that you can affect external reality through your inner state of consciousness.
So I'm guessing the question was about manifestation, but what he's saying is the internal state is much more important. And in fact, this is the key to changing who you are, is breaking the habit of fixating on the results, fixating on everything that's happening to you. Um, when you just take it for what it is, when you just say, okay, this is what happened, it doesn't have to continue to happen, then that's when you can make changes. Until that moment, everything will remain the same. You never come to lives because it's 4 a.m. You're not waking up at 4 a.m. That's crazy.
But the thing is, you no longer have this need for external reality to satisfy you, because that is the egoic need. And then what you create in your external reality is very different from somebody who needs external reality for self-satisfaction.
If you need anything, if anything is outside of you and you desire it, it's really misplaced. It's misplaced desire. Anything above your means, anything above what it takes for you to survive, you don't need. You think you need it because you'll get some sort of validation. You'll feel good about yourself. You'll feel like people value you. But the truth is, if you can survive, you're okay. You have everything you need. And it's the ability to appreciate what we already have. It's the ability to frame things in this perspective that allows you to be happy. Until you have this level of appreciation, this level of gratitude, there's literally no such thing as happiness for you. You will never be fulfilled. You will never be happy. You found out your teacher is going through a divorce. Are you that terrible student that just bullies your teachers for their lives falling apart? It's definitely you.
For some kind of sense of happiness or fulfillment. I need that. Jesus pointed to the future possibility that is in the next stage in human evolution when he talked about faith. Now that's an interesting word, faith. There are two words used in the New Testament or Bible.
To me, faith is the idea that something's going to happen without any external evidence of it. And it's belief without sort of rationality, belief without any sort of reason to believe. That's what I see faith as.
Belief and faith. Now they are confused, and people have misunderstood the basic message because there's a confusion between belief and faith. In some languages, even it's the same word, but fortunately in English, you have two words, and people don't understand. They're very different things. So in conventional Christianity, it talks about salvation, and it says if you believe in Christ and that He died for your sins, and so you
Where he's going with this.
partake a story, basically. You believe this story to be true. If you believe that, you're saved. Now, belief is to believe something to be true means you don't know if it's true, because if you knew it, you would know it. You wouldn't believe it. I don't believe that there's a flower here. I know that there's a flower here. So belief implies that
Uh, I see that definition.
you don't know, but you are certain that it is the case. And usually belief refers to something that you believe in, a story or something you've been told, or the existence of something that you cannot verify. I believe in angels. Well, maybe you have seen them, but if you've seen an angel, then you no longer believe. Then you know there are angels. If you've never seen them, you believe in angels. Now, faith is something different, and because of the confusion of faith and belief, the misunderstanding arose in Christianity that the belief in a story can save you. What
Okay, maybe I have to change my definition of faith after hearing that. Faith is knowing something is going to happen, knowing things to work out with any evidence to show that.
what Jesus said is what saves you is faith. And he said, if you have faith, even as small as a mustard seed, you can tell this mountain, remove yourself from here to there, and it will be done. Now, what is that? That's very different from believing in a story. Faith is a, a deep
It's talking about like a conviction, like the idea is never questioned. Whereas belief, your belief can always be thrown up in the air. I'm sure there's ideas that we once thought were really strong, ideas that we thought were impenetrable, and we really believed in these things, and then a few years later you're like looking back and you're like, what the hell? Like faith is something beyond that. Faith is something that can't be shaken. So like some people have a great faith in humanity, some people have a great faith in God. Um, those are more beliefs that can't really be swayed.
sense of trust or connectedness. It's not faith in anything in particular. It's not a mental thing. Faith is not, belief is mental. A faith is to be rooted in being, and out of that being arises this enormous trust in life. And that really what we're talking about is the deep I. When you connect to the deep I, suddenly you feel rooted in something.
The deep eyes, the think of I don't even know how to describe this simply. When you when you get what you want and it's not enough, you realize that there's some gap. You thought that when you got to whatever accomplishment, everything would be solved, but you realize there was something more. And that more that you're looking for is the deeper sense of self, the deeper fulfillment, what you really want to be spiritually. What it's not what you want to be physically, it's what you want to be spiritually. It's who you want to embody, it's who you want to become. It's when you align yourself with that. The easiest way to think of this idea is probably find your idealized version of yourself. What would you be doing? And when you align with that version of yourself, like the true version, like when you say the ideal version of yourself, most people be like, "Oh, I want a supercar, I want a house, I want millions of dollars." Like, not. That's probably not what you want. You probably want comfort. You probably want family. You probably want peace of mind, and you probably want stability. And if you have all those things, you don't need the excess. But it's aligning with that true version of yourself. It's transcending the ego and understanding that everything that you want is just what you think you want because everyone else has told you to want it.
Vast. That removes fear. And when fear is removed, you have trust. And when you have trust, that is another word for faith, that complete trust in this power that you feel that is not separate from who you are, but infinitely vaster than this little person. So you can sense that vast power in you, and sensing this power in you, which is consciousness,
Think of so the phenomena that he's trying to describe right now is the idea of presence, the idea of awareness, the idea of relaxation, pure relaxation. Not when we think of relaxation, we think of going home and going on the TV and playing video games, doing all this. Like I'm talking about stillness. Think of the moments when you're at Thanksgiving dinner and everyone's eating, or maybe if you don't like your family, you're with your friends, or maybe you're just out by yourself in nature, and everything is so calm, everything is so peaceful, everything is completely in place, and there's something more. There's something you notice that is not normally there, some feeling inside you, some love, some warmth, some compassion. The feeling can't be described, but this is what he's talking about. It's this idea.
that emanates from the source of all life, sensing that power in you is faith. It's not a mental thing. And so when you are connected with this power, then Jesus says in this parable, you can affect things in the outer world much more easily. And that is manifestation. And he talks about another thing. He says, when you pray for something, my translation is, feel that you already have it, and then you will it will be given to you. So you need to already feel the fullness of life now, which is when you connect yourself.
So what he's describing right here is Neville Goddard's teachings. So basically, to me, I want you to take it as a psychological thing. I want you to understand that you can do anything you want if you just think and believe the right things about yourself. Before you can do something, you must believe you can do it. Because until that moment comes, you will self sabotage, you will self doubt, you will do anything except focus on the problem. But the moment you believe you're capable of something is the moment that you begin to start thinking of ways to do it. And envision yourself having already done it, and your mind will fill in the gaps. That's what he's talking about.
To the deep I. In that you don't need anything anymore. Anything you could obtain is already there. So when you try to manifest with yours, you think you need something, then you're not very good at manifesting, but you may succeed, but it won't make you happy, it won't satisfy you. But the power is in you, and so anything you want to manifest, you feel that power, which is faith, trust, as an immediate realization. And then you might have a mental image which will no longer be egoically determined. It won't be something that you think is going to satisfy you eventually, or eventually make you happy, or uh, famous, or make you into a saint.
So the idea he's talking about is when you have what you want in your mind, you need anything else. This is why Plato has the saying, know thyself. The idea is when you're okay with yourself, you're okay. Why do you need to seek externally what you have internally? Why do you need anything if any moment you're just pleasant, you're just happy? You don't need anything more. You don't need any excess. That's the idea he's talking about right here.
Or become a spiritually evolved being. It's all future stuff. No, it's just an externalization of something that is already within you. So that power is the cream, and the external things are the skimmed milk. It gets, so there's the essence of consciousness, and anything you achieve will be a manifestation of that consciousness that you can sense within you. So the thing is,
So what he's saying is what I said earlier. When you believe yourself to be capable of something and you persist in that idea, everything else follows. Everything is a manifestation of who you embody. So if you continue to do the same things, you will continue to get the same results. If you continue to think the same things, you will take the same actions, which will thereby get the same results. When you change that stimulus, when you change that thought, when you change that self-perception, that self-definition, everything else follows. Maybe it doesn't happen instantly, maybe it's not right away, but it doesn't matter. The moment you accept something to be true of yourself is the moment you start the seed that the mustard seed is able to move the mountain, like he said earlier.
it won't make you any happier, it won't make you any more fulfilled than you are now. Because if you think it's going to make you more happy and more fulfilled, it's still ego. You need to find the fulfillment and the true happiness by connecting with the deep I. Then anything else is secondary. And then you can play the game of life from there. You don't need anything anymore. And then when you don't need anything anymore, you can play with it.
Think of when you've been attracted to someone, think of when you've tried to start dating someone. Imagine if you text every 2 seconds. Is that the best thing you can do? No, you're showing them exactly how much you need them already. You're showing that you can't go 2 seconds without their attention. You're, you know, diminishing the value of your time, of your presence because you're just wasting it on them. And the truth is, like, the less you want something, the more it comes to you. The less desire you show, the less you are attached to something, the less you fixate on something, the more likely it is to fall into your life. And I think one of the best examples is, people want to be really controlling of their spouses or their partners or their girlfriends or boyfriends, whatever. Um, and the truth is, the more controlling you are, the more likely they are to do exactly what you don't want. The more you police them, the more they're going to be like, well, he already thinks I'm cheating. Why don't I just do it? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's only through freedom that people respect you. It's only when you give them the agency, the responsibility. Have you ever worked under a boss who gave you freedom, who gave you leeway, who basically let you run around and do exactly what you thought you needed to do, and then when you had questions, they would really help you out? Or did you have a dictatorial boss who micromanaged everything you did? Who do you think you got more work done under? Who'd you learn more under? Who would you become more productive and more effective on a team under? It's never the dictator. It's always the person that gives you your own agency, gives you your own freedom. Because it's the freedom where creativity and love and compassion and all of these ideas that are higher level ideas can flourish. And that's the key to it. When we restrict things, when we need something, when we want something, when we need something exactly this way at this time, and we need this amount of money by this age, like that's when you limit yourself. It's very, very simple, but very, very deep at the same time.
And many things come to you when you don't need them anymore. That's a lovely thing. A little disappointing for the ego because the ego would love many things that then come to you. But when the ego isn't there anymore, the ego can't enjoy it anymore. That's a bummer. Also, you don't, when you achieve things or something comes to you, you don't claim credit anymore. That's one of the things that, again, the ego would love that. But when this power that is in you manifests and through it, you do something, you create something, you attract something, and there's no person says, "Wow, I made it. I finally made it. I did it. I'm a great spiritual teacher. I've been trying for decades, and now I've made it. Yeah."
He reminds me of Osho with the humor.
That doesn't work. If that happened, you would immediately, the power would immediately shut down, and then you would feel abandoned. Where is it? And then you would come and try and give a talk and say, I should be saying something, I don't know what.
I read this guy's book and I listened to the audiobook as well. I didn't hear this humor in that. I'm very disappointed.
Or you just talk from memory. Faith. So faith is a foundation for also for manifesting things. If you bring a mental image to the feeling of faith, which is a connectedness with the deep I, and then you bring a mental image to it, then it's easy to manifest. So you manifest out of the sense of fullness of life, not out.
I don't like that word manifest because I think it has like a negative connotation. I think people take it in the wrong way. I think what you do is think about it as the psychological identity that you embody. So, who you believe yourself to be has so much effect on the world that is created around you. So, if you believe yourself to be a confident person, if you believe yourself to be capable of more than you are, then you're just going to overachieve. People are going to treat you with a little bit more respect. A lot of communication is nonverbal. So, guess what? People are going to read through your body language that you mean business, that you believe what you're saying, that you have conviction, that you have passion, that you have something that's going to set you apart from others. And the inverse is true. If you have poor body language, if you have poor self-confidence, if you don't believe yourself to be capable of something, people can smell it from a mile away. And it's understanding this idea and understanding that everything in your life is a result of who you've chosen to embody. And it's okay that you're not getting the exact life you want because now that you know this fact, you can change it. Now that you know this fact, you know all of the stimulus that you can overcome, the things that you shouldn't embody. And I think it's pretty inspiring from this method of things. And I think when you detach the external circumstances, that's where the greatest things can come from. So don't get attached to the external circumstances. Stop caring so much about the results. Care about the person that you become. I think the greatest aspect of what you can learn from Neville Goddard is in your head, you can become exactly who you want to be. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you get in this physical world. It matters who you become mentally. Do you look in the mirror and are you happy with the person you are? Or do you say, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this? Like, that's the exact wrong way to believe. You should look in the mirror and say, I am capable and worthy of whatever I want. I'm able to do everything because I believe it to be true. And it might not come today, but I already feel it. Think that way.
Out of a sense of lack, not out of a sense of needing something. If you need something, you can't manifest very well. You can still be successful now and then, but it won't make you happy. So if you the neediness, whether it's money or some other kind of achievement or success or relationship, whatever people want, if you need it, you're weak because you haven't found the power that is in you.
So I think the best example of what he just said is think of the people that get into relationships because they don't want to be alone. Those are the people that will continue relationship upon relationship upon relationship and never find happiness through these relationships. And it's really the saddest idea. It's like you need to find happiness through the self. If you want to be in a good relationship, if you want to be in a flourishing relationship, both parties have to be happy and okay with themselves. And if they are happy and okay being alone, think of how happy and great things could be when they come together. You don't want to build a house on shaky foundations. And that shaky foundation is reliance on the other person. Think about it. When you need something from someone, they become a drug dealer to you. What do you, why do you want someone else dictating your happiness? Why do you want someone else? Why do you even want to be reliant on someone else for the greatest gift and the greatest joy in this world that is happiness?
Because then you think there's something out there that will satisfy you. But if you don't need it, because you're already totally fine with this moment as it is, it couldn't be better because you have realized who you are in the depths of your being, then you can play with things.
So I'm not sure he's going to go over this in this video. This is my favorite idea from Eckhart. If you fixate on this very moment, if nothing else matters except now, if you are extremely present and your mind doesn't drift to responsibilities that are 2 weeks down the line that you need to get done this week and that you need to do like if you just focus on what you're doing right now and have that pure presence, have that pure attention, then nothing can bother you. It's when we dissipate our attention, it's when we dissipate our focus, it's when our mind becomes scattered that everything seems to be caving in. The truth is, most of our worries, most of our problems, are not problems at all, and they usually fix themselves. Seneca said this best: we suffer more in our own minds than in reality. And this is the idea that your mind will build things up to be something horrible, something you can never overcome. And the truth is, when you really just put things in perspective, when you really just calm down your mind, everything fades. Everything fades. What I want you to do right now, think of everything going wrong in your life. Think of everything that is happening to you, all of the bad. Think of it all at once. Don't have a heart attack. But what I want you to do is ask yourself this question. Are any of these problems affecting me right now? The answer is no. The answer is it may be affecting you very soon. It may be knocking on your door tomorrow. But if it's not affecting you right now and you can't do anything about it, what is the point of worrying? Now, if you can do something about it, turn off the stream and go do it. Turn off the stream and stop procrastinating. But most of the problems that we worry about are things outside of our control. And the truth is, you're never going to control the scenario, but you can control how your mind handles it. You can control how you view things. William James, the father of American psychology, said attitudes are more important than facts, meaning that there are people who will never drink because their parents were alcoholics, and there are people who are alcoholics because their parents were alcoholics. The way you internalize things, the way you view things, the way you take things and use them to build you down or break you down or build you up. I'm so good until I mess that up. Build you up or break you down is the most important thing. There is no such thing that is not both an opportunity and a setback. Emerson perhaps said this best that every opportunity both opens and closes a door, and every failure both closes and opens a door. If you get a job interview, if you get that job, then that means that the next job that might have been better is now off the table. If you don't get a job, now you set yourself up. Now you got a little more experience. Now you can go get that job that really means something to you. What's up, Dead Tree? How's everything? Hope you're doing good as well, man.
Bring a mental image to that feeling of fullness. That's what Jesus meant when he says, if you pray for something, feel that you already have it, because there you already have it. You won't feel better when you get it. You just feel the same. I don't feel any better now than I did when I was nobody. I'm still nobody, but people now think I'm somebody. But at that time, I was running out of money. I was writing The Power of Now, doing some counseling sessions, and having a bicycle for a time. And then somebody gave me an old car. It was fine to be nobody. I could go into a cafe, sit there, nobody recognized me. Of course not, because nobody knew me. And that was perfectly wonderful. I loved being invisible.
It's funny that I said like 5 seconds ago that there's no such thing as an opportunity that doesn't have its drawbacks. Now that this guy has sold millions and millions of books, he goes places and people recognize him. He has to deal with a whole new set of problems. Even though you would die to be in his position, probably, he still has problems that are a result of these things. And that's the truth. There's nothing in this world that is free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Everything comes with consequences. Everything comes with bad consequences. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing in this world that is purely perfect. There's nothing in this world that does not have drawbacks, but we must focus on the good of everything.
And and then the success came that my ego would have said when I was in my 20s. It would have said, that's what I want, that's what I want, the recognition and doing something that changes the world. And now I do, yes, something, it does change the world, but I didn't do it, it came through. It was consciousness working through this form, that's all.
I like this guy. I honestly like this more than I like his book, to be honest. There's a lot of there's a lot of like spiritual teachers who I think are better speakers than they are writers. Alan Watts is one of them. Maybe he's one of them as well. I've read his other book, but to me, I like his normal cadence much more than his writing voice.
Life is hard.
Jordan Peterson as well. So I think Jordan Peterson's a much better speaker, even though his voice is horrendous. Even though he has the Kermit the Frog voice, I think he's a better speaker than he is a writer.
Life is not easy for any life form, from the smallest to humans, and it's probably hardest for humans because they have their mind. So you're continuously challenged by external events and you're continuously challenged by your own mind. The first thing you tackle is your own mind, so that all the problems that you think you have.
So this was an interesting point that I heard Osho make, and he's basically saying that like human beings are the only animals that are like neurotic. They're the only animals that like self-delete, we'll say. And the only time animals will do those sorts of things are when they're in human captivity. It's my camera. Yeah, my camera's out of focus. Um, is that better? Worse. Okay. Um, but basically, Osho's point was like human beings are so neurotic that it spreads to the animals that they have in their captivity, and um, no wonder um, we're so unhappy today. No wonder all of the things that we put on ourselves make it really hard to live because it's so against nature. Whereas if you look at an animal in nature, where you look at an animal in its natural habitat, it lives in a very peaceful manner. It lives in a very traditional manner, a very natural way. And we try to think that we're beyond nature. We're all accepting of the Dr. Frankenstein ideas that are parts of society. I mean, think about trying to replace nature with pharmaceuticals. Think about trying to replace nature with supplements. Think about trying to replace what should be happening in nature with genetic engineering and CRISPR and stuff like that. Like it's very weird that we don't realize we're our own worst enemies. Can you suggest any kind of way? Um, so to be honest, most of the books I suggest are like some sort of philosophy, some sort of idea that's similar to that. Specifically, We Suffer More in Our Own Minds Than Reality is an idea from Seneca. So if you want a good book on that, read Letters from a Stoic. This guy's book, The Power of Now, is also a really, really good book. Where is it? I have it somewhere over here. Let me find it. I'll show it to you. Oh, never mind. It's on my bookshelf. I'm not gonna go get it right now. And you couldn't know words like that or feel them unless you devoted yourself to that specific spot. I don't. What is your um, second thing saying? What do you mean by that? But really, I would just suggest that okay. So the things that I'm saying are basically you can either read Emerson, you could read Taoism, you could read Buddhism, you could read Osho, you could read Eckhart Tolle, you could read any sort of mystic, any sort of philosopher. It's just you're probably not going to be able to speak these ideas until you read all of them. So that's the thing with it. Like most of these ideas, you just have to expose yourself to long enough, and then they start to click. It's a feeling. It's not an understanding. Philosophy is your genre. I mean, if you go to if you're wondering how I come upon these ideas, it's I read more mystics than I read philosophers. So like, if you've ever read Emerson, to me, Emerson is much more a mystic than he is a philosopher. So like a good book would be this, Emerson's Essays. Um, I'm reading Schopenhauer right now. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty similar. The Tao Te Ching is a really, really good one. That's like more mystical philosophy. Anything that's like it's called like New Age thought, New Age movement. Anything that's more that is going to be exactly the stuff I'm talking about. I don't particularly subscribe to any sort of ideology or any sort of philosophy. I don't think like grouping yourself into a category is a good way of going about it. But those are the sorts of books that I would look into.
You make sure that there's some real challenges there and not some pseudo problems generated by the mind, by the incessant,
And if you
useless.
want a good resource online on YouTube, look up Osho, Osho. That guy explains some of the ideas the best. We can go through a video of him next.
Overthinking of the mind so that you wake up in the middle of the night and worry about things that's not happening but might happen, as an example. So these are not real problems, they are pseudo problems, but it's still a huge challenge because you are being challenged by the unconsciousness of your own mind.
Problems are only real if you allow them to be. And what I mean by this is it's only because you self-define it as a problem. Okay? Think if you can do something, it's not a problem. It's not something that you can't face. It's only because we believe we can't do it that it becomes an issue. Osho said it best, the only way someone can insult you is if you allow them to. You know what I mean? So when people make fun of you, do you get angry? Do you get upset? Do you try to fight back, or you're just like, yeah, okay, whatever? You know what I mean? If you allow it to get to you, then people are going to keep doing it. But if you just drop it, if you just show that it has no power, it's gone. I really don't care what people say about me anymore. And this is an idea that like it doesn't make sense until you understand it. It doesn't make sense until you embrace it. But when you see that, when you get worked up, when you get upset and someone's making fun of you, they're just going to keep doing it. Go along with them. Make fun of yourself. Don't take yourself so serious. It's a good thing when people make fun of you because it reminds you that you're not this serious person. You're not this serious being. You're on this world to have fun. You're not on this world to be the next political philosopher, the next political pundit, the next serious guy that goes into an office and everyone respects them. Like, no, that's not what the world is. That's a fake persona. Like, just learn to laugh at yourself and then you can have fun with everyone.
And that is to be tackled primarily. Once you look through that, then you are no longer in the grip of, at the mercy of your own mind and its conditioning. So awareness arises, presence arises, then less and less do you get challenged by your own mind, which creates pseudo problems.
So, what he means awareness or presence, this is a very, very important idea. Um, Basically, how you want to think of awareness or presence is the moments when everything else fades to the background. The moments when you're only focusing on this very moment. So, the entire reason people go thrill seeking is to gain presence because the fear of death makes them hyper fixate on exactly what they're doing and they have a like an enlightening experience. They have a thrill that is fleeting and they want to keep chasing. That's why people go thrill seeking. It's the same thing with meditation. When you meditate, you calm down your mind to a state where it forgets about everything else and it's just still. It's present, it's aware. This is why when you meditate and you open your eyes, the colors are more vivid. The details that you're picking up are more extreme. They're more rigid. You can see the imperfections. You can see everything that's out of place because you gain presence, you gain awareness. And the more you chase this state, the more you can be happy because when you're present, when you're aware, then you can determine what is serious and what is unserious. You know what I mean? Like I've literally been procrastinating filing my taxes simply because I haven't been present. But I promise you, if I sat down and thought about filing my taxes, I would be like, it's literally going to take me 30 minutes. All I have to do is take a picture of it and then it does it for me. Why am I making a big deal out of this? And that's what we need to start doing with our problems. We need to start really thinking about them, really fixating on them, really understanding why it is that we don't want to do them. And the truth is why I don't want to do my taxes is because, oh, I want to relax. I want to calm down. I don't want to think about the world. The world feels so serious around me. That's why I'm not doing it. And it's like it's the dumbest thing possible because instead of just getting something out of the way, now I've prolonged it to where I might miss the deadline. And it's like we do this with so many different things in our lives, and it's just so weird that we want to continue to persist in these ideas. Like it's almost as if we're addicted to anxiety, addicted to fear, addicted to problems. This is one of like Dr. Joe Dispenza's greatest ideas. It's like People feel stressed because they want to. You've been told to be stressed out because you've been told that you have a list of things that you must check off each and every day. And if you don't get them done, then you have to worry about them. It's like we basically live our lives based off fear because of the way that we're raised. I hope you're doing well. I started reading this book. It's taking hours to get through. Okay, so the thing about this book is it's very different from anything you've ever read. So these are ideas that like don't feel bad that you're taking a while to read this book because it's like the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is 40 pages long, but it's been in circulation, it's been in print since the day it was written thousands of years ago. Simply because it's so deep, it's so poetic, and it's so profound. So like it's really filling the line in between the gaps in your head. It might be something you understand instantly, or it might be something you understand on deep reflection. Think about it in that way. So we're saying stop being the inflow and let the exponential power of the mind start analyzing small things as the key. Yes, yes. Um, so I'll talk about Einstein and Tesla real quick because that's a great segue to them. Einstein and Tesla said that all of their scientific discoveries were not discoveries of the mind, they were discoveries of intuition. Intuition is purely consciousness, purely creativity, and intuition can be directed into activities if we just listen to it. So have you ever had like a hunch that something was correct, even though you have no right to make the guess and then it ends up being correct? It has the potential to discover the greatest things known to man. And it's really the ability to listen to that voice. But you can't listen to this voice when everything else is just bombarding you, taking away your attention, taking away your focus. It's really only through boredom that we can have great discoveries, that we can have great insights. You know, Einstein discovered I think it was the special theory of relativity, maybe it was general, by popping bubbles in the bubble bath. Okay? Like one of the greatest minds only was one of the greatest minds because he could calm his mind down and just let it think. Let it be itself. Allow nature to take its course. One of the greatest examples of creativity is the Zen rice paper painters. So the Zen monks, they would learn how to paint on rice paper and they would spend 12 years learning all the brushstrokes. 12 years learning all of the forms, all of the conventions. And then for 12 years, they would stop painting. Because when you paint on rice paper, you can't be rigid. You have to flow. The moment you stop, the moment you hesitate, the rice paper begins to bleed the ink and it ruins the entire thing. So for 12 years, they would do everything else except paint. And when they returned, they had both the creative ability of their minds and they had the structure. They had the ability to paint. And they weren't second guessing themselves because they weren't strictly adhering to the rigidity of the forms. They weren't strictly adhering to exactly how to paint. And because they had the ability to master the basic skills and the ability to listen to their own creative vision, they created masterpieces. How's life been for me lately? Life's been pretty good. I mean, it's like I mean, you can anyone can complain about their life. Anyone can say life's not going the way they want to. But the moment you start saying that, I want you to stop yourself and start asking yourself, what do you have now? This is something that I've been really doing recently, and this is something that's really been helping. I can sit here and complain about, I don't have this, I don't have that. Oh, I'm stressed out. Oh, I just want a few weeks to just, figure out what I want to do with my life and figure out these. Like, I could do all that thing. I could do all that stuff. Or I could sit down and go, I have a beautiful, amazing girlfriend who loves me more than the world. I have a nice car that I paid off that it runs perfect. I have a great family that supports me. I have great friends that I can call at the drop of the dime and they'll be there. I have a great head on my shoulders. I'm extremely tall. I am in very good shape. I'm very athletic. My health is really good right now. what else could I ask for? You know what I mean? Like, Elon probably can't say all that. Bezos probably can't say all that. Like, who am I to complain about anything? Who am I to have all these blessings and ask for more? And I think it's really just a matter of perspective how life is going. But if the answer isn't life is going great, then I want you to start realizing that you already have amazing gifts. I don't know if that's the answer you wanted, but that's the answer I'm giving.
Problems, including overreactions to events, thereby amplifying the events and transforming an external event into suffering. I often give the example of when you have to wait for something, you get irritated and you get angry. That's called suffering. It's a form of suffering. Not realizing it's not created by the event, it's created by my mind. The moment you don't interpret the event as bad, it is as it is, you're not suffering. You might still be uncomfortable, but that's not suffering. It's not misery. You're just uncomfortable. Maybe your back hurts, you're standing there, whatever you're doing. No suffering. The suffering is the cycle.
Nietzsche has this idea of amor fati, love your fate. And I really love this idea because it's everything that's happened to you has made you who you are. So good, bad, or indifferent, it's made the individual who you've been, the individual you will become. And you should love this because it's given you the strength to triumph. It's given you the trials to test yourself. It's given you the lessons to give you any sort of success that will come to you in the future. So everything that's happened to you, accept it and love it because it made you exactly who you are and exactly who you should be.
Psychological level. So go to any situation, see how much of your suffering, unhappiness, misery, whatever you want to call it, is that, does it arise from a true situation, or is it the mind creating it for you? Your entire life. If you see your life as causing you suffering, get out of your life situation right now.
Well, if you're in class, it's obviously not going to work because school isn't based off creativity, man. That's the problem with school. The problem with school teaches you the basics, but it never goes beyond the basics. It teaches you what to think and not how to think. And it's when you can formulate both of those and combine both of those ideas where you get the greatest discoveries. But to most people, success in this world is purely based off of material wealth, and you'll only ever get that sort of desire from school. School teaches people how to be better employees, not creative individuals, not contributing individuals, not individuals who change the world. I mean, think of most of the tech billionaires that have really changed how we view technology, how we view the internet. I mean, Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. I don't know if Steve Jobs graduated college, but most of these guys dropped out of college. Most of these guys really, not saying that they weren't smart in school, but they just realized like they didn't need it. They realized that like, all right, this is just stupid for me to be here. And that's the idea behind it. It's like emphasize in your own mind how to think, okay? But the truth is you're never going to get success in school from this mindset. So like just pay your dues until you're out. Just if you need to continue school, continue school. I'm not advocating for people to drop out, but just understand that like the moment you hit the real world is the moment you should embrace these ideas. But for success in school, it's not going to work. Okay, like that's the problem with these concepts. Like people like it's not going to work because school is such a rigid structure. Even creative writing, even creative thinking. Like I promise you, if James Joyce turned in Ulysses to a any sort of literature professor, he would be failed on the spot because it's one of the most expansive, it's one of the most creative, it's one of the most insightful books you'll ever read, but it doesn't make sense or conform to anything. So that's an instant failure. And it's like it's all about whose metrics are we judging it based off of. And school judges it based off conformity. The world bases it off creativity. True creative works will eventually be appreciated. True creativity will one day get its day. It will one day be revered. I think pointing to the likes of Kafka. Kafka died virtually unknown, and like 10, 15 years after his death, he was one of the most well-sold authors in the entire world. And it's like the creative path's not always the successful one, not always the lucrative one, but it's the true one. That's the key.
now and realize your life. How do I do that? I have so many problems. So many problems.
I don't know who Pierre Haddad is. The thing is, no one understands what they're talking about. Okay? I want you to understand when you read a book, you take it through your own lens. Okay? So it's always easy to look up the convention of what something means. It's always easy to read the introduction to a book and understand what the words you're about to read are about. It's much more difficult to actually interpret these things and put them in the context of your life and how they mean something to you. And these aren't skills that we're taught to do, but the more you embrace this idea, the more you embrace, like, what does this mean to me? How do I take this? How does this make my life better? That is, that's the way you should interpret it. He wrote, "What is ancient philosophy?" I mean, that's interesting. What are we talking ancient philosophy? Are we talking Hermes Trismegistus or are we talking Plato? There's a big difference.
Where are they? I ask. Well, they're everywhere. I mean, I've got to do when I get home, what's waiting for me, all the stuff that's waiting for me. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent, what's going to happen there. My relationship is not going well. They're probably going to fire me soon at work, or they fired me already. All those things I have to deal with when I get home, and the things that happened last months, that awful thing that happened then, that still, oh, that's my life. So those are my problems. Okay, where are they now? Right now.
So I was saying this like probably 20 minutes ago. You may have all these problems, but where are they? Where are they? Are they in front of you right now? Unless you're working on it right now, I don't want you to worry about anything. Until you start working on something, do not worry about it.
I can't see any. That, so I wrote that in the book somewhere. It's an important question. Do you have a problem now? And in order to give a correct answer, you have to become aware of the present moment. And you have to become aware that you are aware. And you become aware that in this moment, if you just take this moment, you don't actually have a problem. You might be in prison.
Do you have a problem in this moment? It's such a simple question, but it's such a profound answer. The answer is no. The answer is unless someone's banging down your door about to kick you out, you don't have a problem now. And it does you no good to worry about something if it's not here now. Take action that's necessary, but if you can't do anything about it now, do not worry about it. Do not worry about things that are outside of your control. What was the channel name you mentioned earlier? Osho.
Is that a problem? You're sitting there, breathing, walls around you may not be pleasant. It's what is. You sense the energy in your body, and you can sense yourself as the consciousness. And you go, there's the deep I. There's no problem ever in the deep I. The problem is when the deep I gets obscured by useless mind stuff. So whenever you enter the present moment, and you should do that frequently, so that you're not, you're
So he talks about present moment. Just understand that there's a million different practices to gain presence. So the most popular is probably meditation. Meditation is extremely hard for a lot of people in our generation, though. So it's something that I think you should work on. It's a skill I think you should develop, but I don't think you should be reliant on it because one, it takes a lot of focus, And two, it's something that you can't do right away. But what you can do is you can, go on a walk around your neighborhood. You can just take yourself out of the environment that you were in, take yourself out of the problem that you were in, take yourself away from what you were doing and do something else. Think of when you're working on a project and it's just not clicking. So you just go do your laundry, you go do the dishes, you come back and it just clicks. You can do this with your life. If you're really stressed out, go on a walk for 20, 30 minutes, go on a walk for an hour. When you come back, there is just something that's different. There's something about you that's changed because you've been more aware, you're more present. You realize in the grand scheme of things, what you're worrying about isn't as important. It's that idea. Isn't meditation silencing your mind? I mean, you could think of it in that way. I mean, there's a billion different definitions of meditation. So, like, to me, meditation is sitting down and calming my head. But there's other people that believe that there's different forms of meditation, like I just said, going on a walk or doing yoga, um, saying mantras. Like, again, to me, when I say meditation, I mean sitting down and focusing. And I'll say different words for that. But yeah, you're right in a sense. It's just not the way I use the word.
Consciousness is not absorbed completely by your problematic life situation. Step out of your life situation, which exists in the head, into life. So there's your life situation, past and future, and there's your life, which is now. But it's not your life. We just use those words. It's not your life because you don't have one. Because if you had a life, there would be two of you, you and life. But you are nothing without life. You are life, and life is conscious.
So he said something about step into the now. There's the past, there's the future, but you're in the now. And that's a really, really, really distinction. The more you fixate on that idea, the more happiness you will have. And I'm going to break it down really, really quickly. And what I'm about to say is very important. The past is the past. The future we see is a projection of the past. The only moment that truly exists is the now. Most people linger in the past or the future. When you linger in the past, what you're doing is allowing it to have an effect on the now. If someone did you wrong, the more you fixate on it, the more you hold it in your mind, they will continue to have space in your head. They will continue to affect your life. The only way to actually get revenge on someone is to forget them, is to never allow them to have any sort of space in your mind, any sort of effect on your life. Turn that hatred, turn that vitriol into indifference. Make it something that doesn't even pass through your head. And that's the greatest revenge you can get. Moving on, forgiving, getting past it. The more you linger on bad emotions, the more you look at past experiences and have some sort of emotional reaction to them, the more you're telling yourself you're not happy now. If you look to the future, it's the same thing. If you look to the future and say, in the future, I'll have this, in the future, I'll have that, what you're doing is telling yourself that you're not happy now. What you're doing is telling yourself that you're not good enough now. The only thing that matters is who you embody in this moment, who you act as in this moment, who you are in this moment. The past is only a tool. You can look to it for guidance, you can look to it for experience, but the moment the emotions come through is the moment you should forget them. Don't look at the past with emotions. Look at them with learning lessons. Well, that's damn hard. Yeah, it's hard. Okay. What I'm telling you right now is literally the path to enlightenment. When you can overcome yourself, when you can overcome these ideas, you're what's called an enlightened person. There's only been like a handful of officially enlightened people throughout human history. Okay? So of course it's hard, but it's the pursuit of these ideas, knowing that you're probably going to fall short, that will give you the most happiness. Okay? Like I don't even think this guy would consider himself enlightened, I know Osho does. Um, maybe you believe it, maybe you don't. Um, but yeah, it's not something that's supposed to be easy. It's something counter to everything that you've learned through your entire life. So of course it's going to be difficult. Every fiber in your being is telling you to think the opposite. Every fiber in your being is telling you to fixate on the past, to fixate on every wrong, to believe that you can't become something more because you've been told up until now you're not good enough. Okay? Everything in your life is telling you that. Doesn't mean you have to listen to it. You can't just suppress it. It's not suppressing it. It's not holding emotional ties to it. It's not fixating on it. It's not lingering on it. The past has an effect, but it doesn't have to have a large one. It doesn't have to hold you with who you are. Like lingering on the past restricts you as a person because it means you can't grow. Like, wow, because I believed and did something when I was younger, that means I'm destined to be that same person my entire life. Like, that's what you're telling me right now. You're telling me that everything that's happened to you defines exactly who you are, and there's no chance that you can become anything new. That's what you're saying. And I just don't think that's correct. And I'm saying that the more emphasis you put on the now, the more emphasis you put on changing who you want to be now, the less the past matters. Think about it that way. I'm not saying that it's not like it's never not going to have a hold on you unless you completely dissolve the self, unless you completely overcome the ego. But it's just understanding that the less you fix it on these things, the less you allow the past to have a hold on you, the more freedom you have in the now.
consciousness. So it's a great realization. When you talk about my life, you're really talking about my life situation. But you don't have a life, and there's no such thing as your life. There's only life, and you're an expression of the one life, an expression of that one life. You are life. You don't have a life. It's very misleading to think that you have a life, because you create.
Do you call yourself a deeply God devoted person or just an average person who loves the creator like most of them? If you can share some thoughts. So I think it's so weird he literally said what I was about to say to that thing. That's why I let it play a little bit and that's why I giggled while I was reading it. To me, um, we're all in this together. We all come from the same source. Um, I was reading Spinoza's God and it's that idea. It's the idea that everything was once something else, everything will soon be something else, and we're just all partaking in this. And the Bible says the kingdom of heaven is within you. And what that means to me is that we're all God's creation. We all have a little part of it in him, a little part of us in him. No, a little part of him in us, a little part of God, of essence, of creation inside of us. And I think there's something tying us to this force. And the more we listen to this force, the more um, we can kind of embrace these ideas, the more we can kind of align ourselves with the true way of life, with the true um, way of happiness, I would say. And I think it's something in those ideas. I don't know if that makes any sense, and I don't know if I can explain it any better than that right now. Sometimes I can explain it better, but right now I can't. Yeah, yeah. See, I'm talking idealistically. I'm talking about overcoming the past as if it's possible. The truth is, the past will always have a hold on you. The things that you did that you regret will always have some effect on you, but it's the pursuit of overcoming them. The pursuit of telling yourself that they do not matter as much as who I am today. And when you can start getting to that idea, when you can start, looking at the things that you've done wrong and learning lessons from them and not feeling bad about it, saying that like I forgive myself, I forgive everyone that's hurt me, and I accept this version of myself because this was a broken person and now I'm so much healthier. Now I wouldn't make the same mistake. Now I know better. I think that's the only way to move forward from what we've done wrong. But what I define myself as, I would just define myself as a normal person. Like, I don't really think that, I don't think anyone's special. I think we all are uniquely gifted. I think we're all divinely inspired. It's just some people listen to it more than others. Some people can feel it deeper than others. Some people just have felt things from childhood. You know, they felt callings to be an artist. They felt callings to be a preacher. I would say I'm very much an artist in certain senses, and that's why I can feel these things. That's why I can speak the way I can speak. It's only because I have that like creative gift, I'd say. Some people it's just comes to them, some people it doesn't, and that's really all I have. My smile, dude, it's just the lighting makes it look really bright. When you get a hold of a bigger goal, past doesn't even bother you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I don't think goals are the right way to go through life. I think embodying who you want to be right now is the right way to do it. It's like whatever your goal is, believe yourself capable of it right now and start to imagine yourself capable of it right now and then take the actions to get there. Like obviously a goal of mine is to have a channel where like there's more people here. Okay. I feel like that's pretty obvious. And it's like I don't fixate on the end. I'm just taking the action right now and enjoying it. Like to me, I could stream the rest of the night because this is just really fun. I'm having fun. I'm having a great time talking to you guys. Like I don't need thousands of people here to be happy. And that's the idea. It's like imagine yourself to be worthy, imagine yourself to be capable and taking the action and loving the journey. One of my favorite quotes is a Tolkien quote, not all who wander are lost, telling yourself that you find yourself through the journey, not the destination. The destination doesn't matter as much as the journey does. Think the destination means nothing if it wasn't a long, arduous journey that makes it worthwhile. If you're at the bottom of a mountain and you ride a helicopter to the top, does it mean anything? Or when you hike 10 miles to the summit, you're completely out of breath. You feel like you're gonna die. You feel your heart pounding out of your chest, and you reach that crest, and you see the entire world in front of you. What's gonna mean more? You know what I mean? It's that idea. Yeah, if there's 1,000 people, we wouldn't be talking this frequently. You guys are asking tremendous questions. Like I'm, I love this. You know what I mean? It's like it's fun having like obviously it'd be great like just seeing like super chat. But it's like, dude, there's gonna be a day and age where I'm annoyed by that. You know what I mean? This is chill. We're having like a normal conversation. It's almost like we're in the room together. Like it's fun. I can't like I can't ask for anything more. That's like the coolest part about this. Like I'm already doing my dream. I'm already doing what I want to do. Like, wow, I'm not financially independent. Wow, I'm not this. And like, who cares? This is what I want to do and I'm doing it. Like it's what else could I ask for? What else could I be demanding of life? Like it's you know what I mean? It's like fairly simple, but
It is duality inside yourself, and you become sorry for yourself. It's a strange duality. I feel sorry for myself. I am a victim of my life. Weird. So there's two of you. There's the life, and then there's the victim. There's the me, and there's the I. I had that thing that night when I went to this spontaneous awakening. I can't live with myself any longer. And then I looked at the thought, I can't live with myself. Who is that self, and who am I? Two people must be here. The self and I. That's so weird. And the similar thing is when you say, I hate myself. And even when you say, I love myself, although I love myself is infinitely better than hating yourself, but when you love yourself, you're still in a certain duality. There's an image of who you are, and you love that image. It's much better than hating yourself. So that could be an intermediate step. If you're not happy with yourself, learn to love yourself.
yeah, my bad if I kept you up. No, but it's I like it's like it's cool to just like have different um because like even if we disagree, even if you ask a question in a way I've never heard it before, it still makes me think. And that's the most fun part about this. Like I could say whatever I want, but it's when people challenge me, it's when people ask me questions, when people phrase things in a manner I've never thought of them. It's that's where I feel like I'm learning too. Like I'm learning different ways to say things, I'm learning different ways to express things. It's just so cool because like I can take what I learned here and then I can apply it into my real life. I can apply it into to who I really want to be. So
Yourself and accept yourself. That's wonderful. Put the sticker on your bathroom mirror to remind you that you love yourself. That's great. And then at some point, you go beyond that also. And then all you need is to be yourself. And then you no longer have a conceptual identity that you love, because then you have a duality there. I love myself. It's like the Narcissus myth in ancient Greece, the myth of the young man called Narcissus, who
I feel like this fable's used way too much today.
at that time there were no mirrors, but one day he walked past a pool of water and he looked into that's the myth of Narcissus, he looked into a pool of water and he saw his own reflection in the pool of water, and he happened to be very good looking, and suddenly he realized that he was very good looking, and he said, wow, look at that.
I can't remember who said this, but someone had a really good idea where they were like, mirrors were one of the worst inventions for humanity because people didn't used to know what they looked like. So before people knew what they looked like, they didn't put so much emphasis into their appearance. Um, and I thought this was a really cool idea because the more you think about it, the more you're like, imagine how different people would act if they didn't view themselves as better than someone because they were attractive or worse than someone because they weren't good looking. And it's really cool to see how we like self-define ourselves, how our attitudes and how we carry ourselves change simply by our appearances.
That's me. That was the earliest selfie. Now we don't need a pool of water anymore. It's always in your pocket. So that's according to the ancient myth of Narcissus, he fell in love with himself. Now that would be a good thing according to some people. I really love myself. But it was more of an egoic thing, and what the myth really
So there's a difference between a shallow self-love. There's a love of your appearance. There's a love of your things. There's a love of your position. There's a love of your status. And then there's a true self-love. True self-love should be unflinching. It should be, I'm exactly who I want to be, and I love every action I take. It brings me deep fulfillment. It brings me deep joy. And when you live like that, you live true, you live free. Um, you're a great person. But nowadays, I think it gets mixed up, the idea of self-love, the idea of narcissism. It's wrapped up in this false sense of self, this false sense of who we are. It's based off of who society tells us we are, the attributes that society tells us are good in us. And I think this is something that is going to continue to get worse in this world until it gets a lot better, until people start turning more to the spiritual instead of the material. And I think there's an upcoming shift. I think a lot of people are going to start waking up to the phoniness of it all. People are going to start waking up to um, how materialism and consumerism is the wrong way to go about seeking happiness. But until that point, I think there's going to be a ever growing problem with people wanting to be seen, of people viewing themselves as better than others. And the truth is, you're no better than anyone else. No matter what you accomplish, you are just as insignificant as everyone else on this world. And when you put it in that perspective, then I feel like the only way to be happy in this world is to stop taking yourself so serious. Is to stop putting so much emphasis on the wealth you have or the impact you have. The only thing that matters is the journey, the experiences you have, the love you feel, the joy you feel, the perspective you gain, the insights you have about your own life. That's the only happiness. That's the only thing that you can take with you. Your soul doesn't die. Your soul will fade into something new. It will become something better. And that's the only thing you can take. The experiences. You can't take the money. You can't take the wealth. It's all gone. The accomplishments will fade. People are already forgetting who Alexander the Great was. People are already forgetting who Julius Caesar was. People are already forgetting who Genghis Khan was. Like we talk about Genghis Khan as if he was not one of the most brutal men to ever live. Now people are starting to recognize his accomplishments. It's like, it's so funny. Like, I think it's just when we take this perspective, when we take the insignificance of our lives and juxtapose that with us making ourselves unhappy and understand that in the end, the only thing that matters is happiness, that then there's no point to doing anything. There's no point to war. There's no point to trying to bring down someone else for the sake of yourself. It's very, it's very moronic. It's very childish.
Clearly points to. By the way, his life deteriorated after that, but we don't need to go there. That he got punished by the gods or whatever. So yes, of course he did, because what this myth shows is the arising of the human ego, of as you split yourself in two,
Good night,
and
man.
there's the me,
How
the
do you say your
self, and
name?
there's I.
Wild,
So
Wild Roy,
that duality is created.
Rioy.
The mental image
I'm
of
sorry.
me
Thanks for
that
being here.
you
Thanks
have
for
a
having fun.
relationship with. So you have a relationship with yourself, which is very strange, because you're not two.
So this is the idea of like self-affirming. This is the idea of like people that like have to tell others how good they are, others how smart they are. The best analogy I can come up with on the fly is when you're watching a TV show and the characters have to tell everyone else, oh, this one character's so talented, this one character's so smart, oh, this one character's a genius. Like the funniest scene to me in Game of Thrones is when they're like, oh, Sansa, you're the smartest person I've ever met. It's like she made some of the dumbest decisions in the entire show. Like you're just throwing this in here for the sake of throwing it in here. Like it's that idea. It's like you shouldn't have to love yourself. You should love yourself through your actions. You shouldn't have to believe you're smart. You shouldn't have to tell yourself you're smart. It should be apparent through the way you can articulate your words, through the way you can rationalize things, through the way you can solve problems. When you have to self-define, this is a true indication of self lack.
And you love your dog because the dog doesn't do that. The dog does not have a relationship with him or herself. And the cat doesn't either.
One of my favorite Aldous Huxley quotes is to his dog, every man seems like a Napoleon, hence the popularity.
That's interesting. The dog doesn't love or hate himself. He just is. Doesn't. What about my life? Or self-esteem. I need to do something about my self-esteem. I'm not happy with the way I look. No dog says that. Of course, the dog is below thought. That's why the dog leads a relatively unproblematic life. And you have to rise above thought to become free of that. And then you just, in the present moment, you are yourself.
How long am I aiming to stream today?
And you no longer have a relationship with yourself.
Um, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have anything to do. Actually, I just had to go to the gym before 7, so I'm streaming for an hour, 18 minutes. I'll go longer. Um, yeah, I haven't been streaming long lately. I looked on my channel the other day and I saw I streamed for 5 hours, and I legit have no idea how I did that. Because like I'm not losing my voice now, but I can feel it because I must have just been talking a lot already. Or no, I filmed a video before this. That's probably why. Because video, there's no gaps. I have to like just keep talking. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Probably like at least 20 more minutes, at least, maybe more. I don't know how much more energy I'm gonna have. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get back to like 2 hours a day. I was doing like two and a half, and I've just been doing one because I got busy. But like this is just so fun. I don't know why I like stopped. I don't know why I broke the habit. Talk about productivity. I mean, it's the thing is this. It's not productivity because I love doing it. You know what I mean? It's like if I was forcing myself to do it, I would consider it productivity, but it's fun. Like I could be playing Minecraft or I could be streaming. I could be going to the gym or I could be streaming. I could be like I can do other things, but like to me, relaxation is doing this, talking about my thoughts, talking about the ideas I have. Like this is just a fun way to get away from everything. You know what I mean?
Yourself, you don't hate yourself, you don't love yourself, you are consciousness. There isn't a self separate from consciousness. There's still some mind activity, of course, you need the mind, but you don't derive your sense of self from the mind activity anymore, so that there's no self in it. The thinking is no longer invested with a sense of self. It's just thinking.
We'll watch Osho. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick though. These headphones are like so awful. Like just ordinary ones, but they haven't came yet. All right, so this is the guy I was talking about earlier. This is honestly the more I learn about Osho, the more um, I really am inspired by his ideas. Osho's like he's very controversial because there was a Netflix documentary about him. I don't remember what it's called, but basically his followers did some like really messed up things, and he um excited for the next gaming video. Should I do a Minecraft stream? That would low key actually be pretty fun. I was thinking the other day, I was like, how like I should do a Minecraft server in my Discord. I feel like that would be awesome. But and then we just talk and I play Minecraft. That'd be the best thing ever. I just have to look into like the logistics of it. Like I would have to set it up, right? You just pay for a realm and then um just send up the code there, right? Um but basically his followers like poison someone and then the like how you can tell he had nothing to do with it is because the US government let him go without any charges. They were like just never come back to this country. But I think it kind of stained his reputation for like the everyday person. I'm 21 now, but life seems to push me hard, maybe just for my family. I'm studying abroad, doing a part-time job. I mean, I want you to think of depression like this, okay? Depression is a symptom of you not being who you want to be. There's a version of yourself that's doing something and extremely happy. And then there's a version of yourself that's doing something that you don't want to do and you're unhappy. The closer this is the ideal self. The closer you can get to this one is the happier you'll be. Depression is simply a misalignment of who you want to be with who you are right now. When you break it down that way, then you can start breaking down the decisions you make in your life. But I think depression is when you put yourself into situations you don't want to be in. Like right now, I'm extremely stressed out. I wouldn't say depressed, I wouldn't say unhappy, but like I'm extremely stressed out because I'm putting myself in a set of scenarios that I don't want to be a part of. I don't want to partake. I don't want to be part of the thing I'm about to go into. So it's like, of course I'm going to be unhappy. Of course I'm putting pressure on myself to do something that I'm not really on the inside of myself. I'm not what I'm about to become. And of course I'm not going to like this. And I'm not saying like stop your plan. I'm not saying like stop what you're doing because those are like really noble goals. I'm just saying take a different approach. Don't be so hard on yourself. If things aren't going perfect to plan, okay. Wow. You're like everyone else. Like just be able to laugh at yourself for like demanding life to be perfect. And I think you'll be able to get over these feelings because most of most of unhappiness, most of depression is focusing on the wrong things. When you when you allow yourself to be present, when you allow yourself to really break down what's going on, then everything kind of fades. Everything goes into the background. Everything disappears. I'm not saying you don't have real concerns, but a lot of things you're worrying about aren't real. Mhm.
You are born without a name and you are dying without a name.
He talks so slow.
And all that existed between birth and death disappears just like a writing on the water. How many people have lived here before us? Billions and billions of people.
So what he's talking about is the flux of everything, how nothing is permanent. We accept this idea the moment we reject the permanence of everything, the seriousness disappears. Most people take themselves so seriously because they believe that their legacy will live on. They believe that people will remember them. Guess what? Most people will forget you 2 weeks after you're dead. Okay? Stop living your life for other people. It's like it's so funny to me that like we all make decisions based off what other people think about us, but the truth is no one cares about us as much as we think they do. And it's like the moment we start thinking about this is the moment we start making decisions for ourselves, for what we really want, for the things we really want to become. And to me, that's one of the most inspiring ideas. To me, that's one of the paths to becoming who you really deserve to be. Like, and I say deserve. Most people that talk about these ideas, they say you should be this. You should have this. You can have this. No, you deserve this. Everyone deserves to be their ideal. Everyone deserves the absolute potential that they are capable of. And it's only when you believe that you deserve it and you accept that you're already worthy of it that you can start to make the decisions to get yourself there. Okay? I want you to start thinking like this. I want you to start embracing this idea.
And you don't find any trace that even they existed. They had also love affairs and they thought that great things are happening to them. They also had enemies. They also had anger. They also had sadness. They also had moments of happiness. They also knew failure and the pain.
All of this stuff is gone already. One of Osho's greatest ideas, someone was like, Osho, how do you want to be remembered? He said, I don't. When I die, I want to be forgotten and forgiven because that's the only moment my spirit truly rests. And it's that idea. It's like I don't know why people want to live forever. The moment you live forever is the moment that nothing means anything. It's the lack of permanence that gives us meaning. It's the lack of urgency that would come with eternal life that is scary to me. If you were going to live forever, why do anything? You could do it in 1,000 years. You could do it in 2,000 years. It's the fleetingness of it all that stirs any ideas, that stirs any creativity, that stirs any action. And it's this acceptance of this. I only have so many moments, so I must make the most of it. I must live in a manner that allows me to be as happy and as gracious as possible.
They also knew success and the pleasure. They knew everything that you know. And while you are passing through that moment, you think it is so important. But just think of those billions of people who have always thought that when they had fallen in love, this is something unique which has never happened before and which
He puts it so perfectly.
is not going to happen again. But they all have disappeared without leaving any trace. Whether they existed or not, whether they
Osho, the funniest part about Osho is I don't know if I should say this because now you're gonna notice this. Osho doesn't blink. Osho doesn't blink because he said he meditated so long that he doesn't need to. And like I somewhat believe it, but it's just so funny.
they fought or
Watch his
not,
eyes.
whether they loved or not, makes no difference. The sun goes on rising, the moon goes on moving, the stars go on their path. The existence remains absolutely unconcerned, as if
Everything will go on except you. We're all part of a bigger cycle. We're all part of a, and everything is going to continue, no matter what you do, no matter the mistakes you make. Everything is going to go. You're but a grain of sand in a large ocean. And it's when we understand our insignificance where we can find the most meaning. If you were meant to become a doctor, if you were meant to become a lawyer, if you were meant to become something, then that restricts you. But it's the very fact that we're so insignificant. It's the very fact that the entire world doesn't rely on who we become that gives us the most freedom, that gives us the most joy. You don't have to do anything. You could become an absolute failure. That's one of the most uplifting ideas possible because you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can live in whatever way possible, whatever way makes you happy. And it's only when we realize the insignificance of it, it's only when we realize how unserious things are. I want you to embrace that idea. Embrace that no matter what problems you have, you will forget about them in a year, 2 years, 3 years. They will not bother you. Nothing is permanent. Nothing will always be here. Everything is changing. Everything is actively either being created or dying. Don't don't hold on to things, man. Don't take things so serious.
whatever you are thinking very important is nothing but a drama. But it is one of the significant things to remember that whatever your experience, this has been the experience of billions of people. So don't be too much concerned about it.
Yeah, I told you I really shouldn't say it because now you can't unsee it. Dude, okay, so most of the videos I've watched on Osho, I've listened, so I don't notice this, but like now that I'm watching it, actually, I'm like, this is like, the
Don't
biggest
make
part is this is 1.5 speeds.
much fuss about it.
Ready? That's not what I meant to do.
Don't take much note about it.
I normally listen to it normal speed because I like his voice. It's like very calming. But I'm not gonna do it on
Don't
stream.
become obsessed with it. It will disappear and you will disappear.
It will disappear and you will disappear. Don't become obsessed with it. That is one of the most profound things you will ever hear. Like we said earlier, it's the internal journey. It's the internal world that matters. Who you are in here does not matter. Doesn't matter what's going on out here. It's only what happens here. It's only who you believe yourself. It's only the ideas you accept about yourself. Everyone can either be gracious for the blessings they have or curse God, curse the world for the things they don't. And when we understand that idea, I want you to take the idea of gratitude. If your life sucks right now, what I want you to do is get a piece of paper or go on your phone and write down 5 things that you love about your life. 5 things that someone in the world might not have. And at the end of that, you're going to look at that list and say, you know what? Maybe my life isn't so bad. Maybe it is pretty good. Maybe there is some good. Maybe there is something to hope for. Maybe there is something to cling on for. Why don't I start focusing on the good I have? And why am I worrying about the bad? It's so simple.
And everything will be silent as if nothing has happened. Because of this understanding, the mystics have been telling that the world and its experiences are nothing but dreams. Don't take much note. Keep a distance. Don't get lost in your dreams. If you can keep
Don't get lost in your dreams. Think about the subjective nature of reality. It's getting very scientific, get very philosophical, but let's say we're in the same room. You would describe the room with a certain amount of words. I would describe the room with a similar set of words, but there would be a distinct difference. Maybe our definitions match up 99.99%, but I'm still viewing a different world than you. The symbols in my head, that the way I perceive color is still different than yours. We are all living in a creation of our mind. The atoms you see in front of you are colorless. It's merely the vibrations that give them color. And when we understand this, we understand that like we really are living in a dream world. And the world is what you make of it. That's my favorite chat ever. Sean Strickland spitting philosophy. That's so funny. So basically focus on the incidents of life in a different perspective, yeah. The key to overcoming yourself, the key to overcoming everything wrong with your life, the key to overcoming challenges, it all comes back to the idea of different perspectives. Think about an argument. When you argue with someone, it's generally because both of you are somewhat correct. It's generally because both of you have some sort of understanding of the situation. In your eyes, you are correct. But why don't you take their perspective? Take their perspective for 1 second, and you realize maybe they're responding to you because something's going wrong in their life, or they saw you do something in a certain manner that they interpret in a certain way. Like there's usually a reason why people feel things. There's usually a reason why you feel things. Think of a relationship. It's always easier for a third party to give someone relationship advice because they're not wrapped up in emotions. This is why we make so many bad decisions in relationships because we have that emotional energy that's guiding us. We have that um, emotions clouding our judgment. And this is why like some of the most dysfunctional people can give you good relationship advice. It's because they're unattached. It's because they have a different perspective. When you overcome your own perspective and see someone else's, this is like the greatest path to transformation. He speaks like once in 50 years. Yeah. No, this guy is awesome. I'm gonna play a video after this that you're gonna love.
Keep a distance from your
It's so
dreams,
funny.
you will come to know the only reality that remains forever, which has no birth and no death. That is your pure consciousness. That is your divine consciousness. You can give it any name, it doesn't matter. It is the Buddha nature within you, or it is the God within you.
That's the wrong thing. This is one of the funniest videos ever.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded. Because democracy basically.
I really have to say that like Osho is the funniest guru there is. Like he just like he's just so unironically funny. I saw a video like probably like a month ago. He was talking about like chastity or something. He's like, "Oh no, I don't believe in that. I just tell all my followers that because then they'll get jealous or something." It's so funny. They're like, "I just want to keep their hopes up." Damn it. See, if there's another good one.
You have to be aware.
No, that video like it's so funny because like I feel like we've all seen that video and like it was only like years later when I was like watching this guy. I'm like, wait, is he the one that said that?
Who are the criminals? And the problem is that those criminals are thought to be great leaders, sages, saints, Mahatmas, and they are respected tremendously around the world. So you will never think that
I don't remember the point he's making here. I was trying to remember, but I
they
couldn't.
can be criminals. So I have to insist continuously every day. It is for two reasons that you become aware that these are the criminals. In fact, criminals has not done any harm to the world. Somebody murders a man. Somebody steals.
Okay, so what he's saying is the impacts that these so-called sages, so-called saints, so-called priests and politicians have is far greater than any one individual can have. Osho was he liked to describe himself. He said, I'm not a revolutionary, I'm a rebel. So it's not conforming and not like trying to replace something with something new. It's a focus on the self. It's a focus on purifying yourself.
Something. It is nothing. A single Adolf Hitler kills 10 million people. Now 10 million criminals are needed to make a Hitler. That man has that much criminality in him.
The way Osho describes politics is probably my favorite way. It's to be a politician is to be a the only way you can be a politician is if you don't even know who you really are. Because think they're a different version of themselves to everyone, including themselves. In a room with one constituency, they're this. In a room with the other constituency, they're this. In a room with, their friends, there's something. In a room with their family, there's something else. Like they're never themselves.
So I have to expose all these people
I'll see you,
because they
Dead
are the
Tree.
causes.
Have a good night. Get
For
some good
example,
sleep.
it is easier to
Thanks for
understand
being
that
here.
perhaps politicians are causes of many problems, wars, murders, massacres, burning people. It is even more difficult when it comes to religious leaders because
My hamstring was about to cramp and I was literally about to end the live as soon as I could because I thought I was gonna have to stream. Oh my, I thought I was gonna have to scream. So I gotta stand up real quick. Ah, that was almost really bad. Oh my God. Wow. Is that just me that like you'll literally be just like sitting down and then your hamstring cramps and then you have to like scream for 5 minutes? That was really scary. You guys were gonna see me like scream like a little. I didn't even. I have to go do legs later, and I haven't even done legs yet. It's gonna be so bad. I must be super dehydrated. If you've never had a hamstring cramp, you're the luckiest person ever. Because it's such like a big muscle that like when that thing locks up, it's the worst pain ever. I used to get it in my calves. I don't get it in my calves anymore. But it's like if I don't drink enough water after doing legs and I go train jujitsu or something, like sometimes I'll literally tap out to a hamstring cramp.
nobody has raised his hand against them. They have remained respectable for centuries, and as time goes on, their respect goes on growing. The most difficult job for me is to make you aware that these people knowingly.
So I really love the way Osho like talks about politics. I really love the way that he just stays away from it, just sees no point in it in either side. Because I mean, the truth about it is like these people win your vote and then do nothing. These people are always out for their own interests. They say they're here to help you, but the truth is they're not. They're here for power. They're here to feel like they did something. They're here because some weird part of their brain needs to have power in order to be satisfied. A healthy mind does not seek power. A healthy mind doesn't seek anything. And that's why we don't have any good politicians.
Or unknowingly, that does not matter, have created this world.
Sure. So I'm starting to get a little tired. I guess I'll keep going a little longer. 147. I'll try to hit 2 hours and then music sounds so awful sped up.
Osho, one of the things I enjoy most in this life is hearing you describe the state of
The coolest part about his books is it all comes from these interviews. They're all just stream of consciousness. None of them are prepared.
enlightenment. For those of us who love to listen, can you once again say something about the unsayable?
This is sped up, by the way. He's just like, I know he's doing this intentionally. It's just so funny. But one thing I want you to start noticing about yourself, are you able to be bored? Are you able to sit in a room with someone and be silent? If the answer is no, then you need a lot of help. There's a there's an idea that we need to always be distracted. There's an idea that when you have downtime, you should go on your phone, you should go on social media, you should do this, you should do that, you should play video games, you should just at all times be preoccupied. I think this gives away our greatest gift, which is attention, which is boredom. The more you're able to be silent, the more you're able to be calm, is the more energy you're going to have the rest of your day. Think of your mind as a battery. The more you just zap it empty with all these different things with all these different stimuluses, the less attention, the less focus you're going to have to the ideas that you really want to embody, the ideas that you really want to think about. If you sit in a room and you just come up with a plan to make the perfect life and you really think about it, you really, really think about it for days on end, I promise you that is going to be more productive than anything else you can do. And it's just allowing ourselves to have these ideas. You can't be a philosopher without those extra large. Yes. Is that
It is true that there is nothing more beautiful, more blissful than enlightenment. Even the talk of it.
so? Before he gets to this point, if you've ever seen Pulp Fiction, there's a moment in the movie where I don't remember her name in the movie, but Uma Thurman, I think that's her name. She says to John Travolta, "You know you really found someone special when you can be in absolute silence with them." That's a deep quote. But think about it. When you feel the need to talk to someone, you feel the need to, oh, how was your day? Oh, this. Like when you feel the need to fill the gaps with small talk, it when you really love someone, when you're really around someone, just their mere presence is enough. And that's something I want you to understand. That's something I want you to embrace. These ideas are things that the more you cling onto, the more you'll find solace and happiness in. I'm really my voice.
Even the faraway echo, even the shadow of it, the moon reflected in the water, is not the real moon. But still it has tremendous beauty.
His examples are always so simple, it's so profound. Yeah, I really love the way he speaks.
And if the waters of your mind are silent, then the moon reflected in those waters is exactly the same.
Perfectly said.
It is not your experience,
This is 1.5 speed.
but it is someone's experience you love. It is someone's experience you trust. And just because you love and you trust, you start sharing the experience in a subtle way.
This is this is why I love the way he says things, and all of these speeches get transcribed. So like you really feel the words he's saying because they're so poetic.
It is certainly difficult to say anything about it. Although my whole life I have been saying things about it and only about it. Even if though I am talking about other things, I am only talking to lead you towards an understanding of enlightenment.
So Osho claimed himself to be an enlightened man. So this is what he's talking about. He's saying that through example, if you can if you can watch what he's doing, if you can embody what he's doing, you can find the same experience.
It is your state of silence. It is your state of universalhood. It is you without the ego and its problems. It is you without any questions and without any answer either.
That's the key. No questions and no answers. The moment you're asking questions, the moment you're asking things, the moment you're making a point. These deeper spiritual ideas can never be understood through the mind. They can only be understood through the heart, through feeling. These ideas are ones that are felt, not understood.
Simply silent. And there is no joy which can transcend this silence.
To me, the greatest explanation of what he just said is sit outside in nature and feel the warmth, feel the energy of the things around you, feel the wind blow through the trees and start to notice the sounds that you weren't hearing before. And being aware of that silence, being aware of that cycle, that flow, whatever it is that you want to call it, that's the feeling that he's describing.
It is pure light. It is pure delight. I can understand your question. Just to hear about it again and again is a necessary need, so you don't forget why you are here.
That was a good video. I'm legit losing my voice. I can feel it right now. So I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for having fun. I'll stream again tomorrow. Um, that said, love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Peace out. I'll catch you in the next one.